Our guest for today's episode here in Thriving in Construction, the podcast, has a bachelor's degree in emergency medical services and at the same time is a paramedic. It may come to you as a surprise, especially since he is currently the project superintendent at Lunacon Construction Group. One might ask, what's a paramedic doing out there in the construction field? Without further ado, let me introduce you to our guest, Mr. David Bertot. David.
What's going on?
David, thank you so much for being here. I welcome to Thriving in Construction, the podcast.
Awesome. No, the pleasure is all mine. I've seen the podcast, so I am aware of the celebrities that you have here in the house. Yes. I really like when Miss Guri was here. I love that interview. Yeah. I've seen her a couple of times, but never talked to her. But she's really one of the keys in the construction. You have a lot of talent.
And so are you.
Oh, thank you so much.
David, can you tell our audience a little bit about you, how you got into this journey? And I love having the opportunity to interview you because, many people do not understand what it is construction about. People have a perception, what they see, but they really don't know what happens inside a building or a bridge when you're designing it or when you're in the construction process. And some people create a belief or an idea that you have to have, must be very difficult, and while it's not easy, but what does it take for a person to participate in this industry? And I want your experience because you have a very interesting journey on how you got into construction. So if you could tell our audience more about you, who you are and the personal level and how you got to this industry, I would love to give that framework.
Awesome. So I'm going to say it was a simple path. My name is David Bertot. I'm a superintendent with Lunacon Construction, and I think that my journey, even though I didn't know about, it started very early. My childhood was a lot of craft. I used to build my own toys. There was a lot of modeling involving clay. At some point, got to more like a wood and a sculpture type of thing. So I think that I was target more towards the art. So I started architecture back in Cuba. Then I came over here, and it was really the only job available for me. I was like about 20, and I started construction.
Did you speak English back then?
No, not at all. Of course not. No, so that was another journey. But yes, it's. I'm gonna say that construction is a lifesaver. It has changed my life completely. Is it easy? No, it's really hard. But we go through the challenges, and that stays in your toolbox, and then you get to use it later down the road. And so every experience, every challenge is something that you absorb very well. When it comes that time around, you know exactly what to expect. So it's a lot of.
Construction gives you the first opportunity when you come from Cuba.
Yes.
And what was your first job?
It was as an electrician, as a helper, obviously.
As a laborer.
Yes. So as a laborer, yeah. And
so
I had to do
carrying pipes and stuff like that.
Yeah, whatever it will come. Yeah, it wasn't funny. Like I always picture, there's gonna be a time where I'm gonna get out of here and do like bank related work. That was my, I really want to get out of this sun. But yeah, I started at the very bottom of the food chain, and then little by little, I'm gonna say opportunities started to fall. But since the early age, I was able to be more like a backbone, so more like I started taking charges of stuff, and that helped. I think that was the key. I started taking a lot of charges and making decisions on my own, even if they didn't ask me or pay me for that. I was there to accommodate the team and just guide them in a way.
So what you're saying is your role was X, but if you saw that there was an issue, an opportunity to solve a problem, to add value, even though that was not your role and maybe it was someone else's, you became a leader.
Absolutely. Yes.
And assume responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely. All the time. I always take full responsibility of all my actions. So and they saw that on me. And little by little, I would get to a stage that I was managing, 3-4 guys, and it got to a point where I was only doing that and directly, even though I wasn't maybe I wasn't qualified for it, but I was able. And sometimes you don't need so much qualification. You'll need a little bit of common sense and a little bit of people skills, and you'll get through any task. We could go to any. It doesn't have to be construction.
And attitude, right?
Absolutely. It's something funny. You have to, this is the way I say it. You have to touch their heart. You have to make friendship with them. Even whether you like them, whether you're not, they have to believe that you are the friend, not the enemy. If you're the enemy, you get zero result. I stumble over that too, but I learned, and then over the years, I think that is key. Is to try to approach in a friendly way.
Lead with heart.
Absolutely.
So one thing I don't want to forget is I have an understanding that you were a firefighter.
Yes. So trying to get out, in my urge to get out of construction. I think that I always been an action type of guy. So I think that the next role was to see what no one wants to see, to be where the help is needed. And that drove me towards a career as a fireman. I think it's more a story of a failure, if you want to put it like that. I learned a lot of things. And I had a lot of qualifications on that. I became a paramedic, a firefighter. I went into, I did some fire investigation. I love it every second. Then kind of the life took me through nursing as well.
Really?
Yes.
All to get out of construction.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say no. There was some heart on it. I was really good at it. I was awarded as best overall on the fire academy. I mean, I was doing a tremendous work. I was putting in a lot of hours, and I was learning fast. And for some reason, it felt to me as second nature. It's something like if you believe in past life, I think I was already it. Yeah, because everything came so easy. I'm really good with my hands and nuts and plumbing, and there's a lot of plumbing on firefighting, and you have to use a lot of common sense. So that attracted me to there, and the sense of urgency, the love that you are the person that someone is gonna call on their worst day. I think that's something. I could fix your problem, whatever it is. So
it gives you a sense of purpose and meaning to be able to serve someone at that level.
And it was a level of the community that at that moment I wasn't really involved into any type of help. I wasn't really helping anybody. But this gave me the sense of helping a community in need when they need it. You see, it was really solid. You have a problem, I'll fix it. So, and every day, I tell you, every day was a blast. I don't think I could describe better than that. Every day was a blast.
Why did you leave that world?
I don't know. And I was talking to Yvette backstage, and I don't have an explanation. I think an easy route will be, it wasn't for me. And we got it a day. So, but no, there was more to it for that. After I have all those qualifications, then really, that's why I say I don't think it was for me. The sense of the lack of creation, the sense of the energy involved. I mean, who wants to see really a hanging? Who wants to see it? Who will be attracted to see it? The 12-year-old girl who found the body. Who wants to see that? Who wants to interact with the little girl? Who wants to interact with the mother that just lost her husband? So, and
because you saw people that got to kill themselves.
Unfortunately, yes. And, some images stay with you. So, why do I have to go through that? I don't think it was really.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I think my subconscious mind pushed me away without me knowing. And I struggled a lot. I said, why? Why is it so hard?
Yeah, it was getting to you.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
And that is to show respect to the firemen and women that nobody knows what they do.
What they have to see on the daily basis. Every time that bell rings, they go out to put their lives at risk just because of you. They go through fire. They go through whatever they need to get in order to save you, to bring you to a safe place where you should be. So there's a lot of courage on that. I have a lot of friends on the industry right now, and they do good. It's very exciting. Yeah. I can say enough.
No, that you have to have a certain type of heart to and passion to give. But what you do for our company, for me specifically, and everyone in Lunacon, it's I in a way it's that commendable. Because absolutely. The service to the client, the challenges that we have to overcome that we don't know they're coming. A lot of times you step onto a job site and you don't know what's going to happen.
There's been a lot of days like that where we don't know what is going to come out of it. We hope for the best, but we have to be prepared for the worst.
So tell me about what has been in your journey in the last 8 years in this industry as you have been growing, and what has been the biggest impact that you can say this industry has done for you? How has construction helped transform who you are?
Oh, yes. So, I mean, it's been a great journey. And I believe that what it does is part of my attitude that I'm willing to take it, but every time it has been raising that bar. So every time we go to a job site, we're being asked for more. And that brings you a level that, you see, I didn't have it yesterday. It's that extreme where, I mean, it countless opportunities where you have to move forward or they're going to pull you. So I mean, it's really not even an option, but it's part of the attitude too. If you have the attitude to grow, then the industry will make you grow. And it's stepping on the unknown, going always over that curve. You see, it's key.
David, when I see you, as much as I one of the things I can say about you is that you have always been very conscious of your health, your nutrition, and your physical. You always prioritize your health as far as what you eat, exercising.
Absolutely, yes.
And how do you manage to do that? Because why I bring that about is that many times, because in construction, in the field, you start early. And a lot of times people don't, and you're married and you have kids, you also have study, and you try to grow. So it's not that you only do this.
Absolutely, yes.
So how do you manage to prioritize health in that level? Because I see a lot of people that they don't find a way on how to do it. And if there's someone listening to us, I want to ask you two things. One, how is it? What are the habits that you have that get you to be able to do this and the commitment? And what has it done for you as it relates to your day-to-day work?
So I think that's a very good question because a lot of people don't use it, but it's more about a daily routine. It's something, you do. You know that out of your day, 30 minutes are going to be on the treadmill. Let's say you're going to run for 15. Just you don't have to kill yourself, but make sure you every single day, every 24 hours, you get that exercise going. And it's all related to time management. Yes, you have to do your task, but that exercise is going to help you do the task. So I follow there's a lot of information on that, and in time management is always been a big deal for a procrastinator like me. So there are a few, I listen a lot to Robin Sharma. He's great on this. I follow him on the 5 a.m. team.
5 a.m. Club.
5 a.m. Club.
You read the book?
Yes, of course. And then I try to follow. I have modified a little bit. I always exaggerate. He used 20 minutes. You have an hour. So I do exercise. I wake up really early, and whether it's 5 or 4:30, I wander around those moments. And then the moment that you are up, you are a winner. I mean, you have not only 5 with bed. You are able to be awake when everybody's asleep.
Yeah.
So I mean, you right now you're gaining. All right.
Yeah.
So then I do this type of exercise. Then I do a little bit of running. Then I meditate, and then I try to read. Sometimes I don't get to do this, but sometimes I try to read something interesting. Architecture is always a good topic for me that I could fit. But whatever you like, you could read on it. And then you move on with your day. But those activities are already checked on your list. The rest of the morning is just
a piece of cake.
It's a piece of cake. You're winning already. So, I mean, it's a lot of your mental state, Get those things that you have to do. You have to do. Get it out of the way early. And then the day, if something comes, there's always things are going to come up.
Because what you're saying is you're working on your body, on the energy that you're creating, and you're putting yourself at that peak state, physically speaking. You're also working on your mind, and you're working on your emotional state. And what is the focus of your day?
Correct.
Because you're doing meditation. A lot of people say, oh, I can't meditate.
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
All the time.
Oh,
but there's a lot. I mean, people.
I can't stop thinking.
Yes, a lot of people don't know what meditating. They have different ideas of what is it. But there's a lot of resources out there that they can use, and they can see the true idea behind meditation. And it's just amazing. You could accomplish pretty much anything you want if you just guide yourself along those lines.
So for me, it's a celebration that you're telling me that you've. When did you embrace meditation as your daily routine?
Like when in time?
Ago?
How long ago? So my father was responsible for this. My father taught me visualization. I don't know, maybe 20 some years ago. So he was big. Even we never call it what we were doing, but it was some sort of visualization. It was a more like a calm. He could, as crazy as it sounds, he could travel. He could travel and on this lands, and I mean, there's so much about meditation. But yes, I think I've been always involved. Then I found a good friend of mine, Luis Rodriguez, and he was kind of my mentor towards this. He believes a lot of metaphysics and things like that, even though we have different perspective of things, and he's more like how do they call that? Like a law of attraction police, those guys that are always trying to see where you're at, but that's not, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that, So he's one of those guys. So I have a lot of help. And then I did a lot of work on my own. I've listened to a lot of and read some about it. And the most important thing is to do it every day.
Yeah.
Routines are key for anything.
I totally agree with your discipline, right?
Oh yeah.
And a lot of times, but and you said something really, really neat. Not 3 hours, 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah. It doesn't have to
every
be a
day.
lot.
It goes a long way.
It's something that I have proved myself. You don't have to go and do 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours of exercise. You do 30 every 24 hours, and your body will change. I mean, I'm not physically impressed. I'm not a bodybuilder in any shape or way. I would like to, but it's something. It's a maintenance to your body, for God's sakes. I mean, we should be hunting and gathering. That's what we should be doing, and we're not. We're far from doing that. We don't have to, but we should.
We don't have to do that.
We're supposed to.
So, as a superintendent, what makes an outstanding superintendent, in your opinion?
So, you have to be humble. You have to be humble because you're gonna encounter, and especially, I'm 41. And people want to see a superintendent that is 120 years old, to have an experience. I am not the guy.
121. You know that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Are you planning on living at that?
No. But I think that with my way of living, I could last for 90.
Maybe more.
Maybe more.
There's longevity.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of advancement.
Yes. No, but I, when it's time to go, I will go. I have no problem going.
So tell me, what is it? An outstanding superintendent, in your opinion?
You have to be
humble.
You have to be humble because you're gonna see masters of their trade, and when you encounter those type of people, you have to absorb. Don't come with the idea that you're gonna teach them something because you have seen it once or twice. They have been doing it. Like I saw you had Ed on your show. That is a guy, the moment that he walks into my job site, I know that he's that type of master. They have been doing roofing for 50 years.
Ed Company.
Yes. I can tell them, hey, you don't do that like that. You have to learn. Yes, you have to stand on your grounds because sometimes, they want to step over the rails, but I think that you have to be open and humble in the sense that anybody could teach you. And you have to take whatever you can. That's free. It's free knowledge that you're getting. So I open my ears a lot when I see a master of the trade like them, and all of them. If you one of the inspectors, they have multiple ones, but John Nocella is someone that you should have to shut up and listen. He has stories of him 14 years old, and he's like probably 60, 70, 14 years old on top of the roof, making it, building it. What's his experience day and now? So
what you're saying is a general superintendent,
yes,
when you have a group of trade partners
yes,
working with you to complete a project, whether it's a building or it's
yes,
a horizontal, you want to embrace their knowledge.
Absolutely.
Listen to them. Don't think that you're the one thing that knows it all.
Yes.
And instead take advantage of the knowledge and then from there create.
Absolutely. Like it's what we are, construction is team. It's teamwork. There's nothing. I didn't do that building. No, I mean maybe I try to push everybody towards a deadline. Maybe I drag some of them towards a deadline. But the bottom line is that we, as general, we did it. We all involved in some sort of shape. Not only the guy that's it physically, but there's a lot to it. So know your ground. You have to know a little bit about everything and try to be an expert wherever there's a task coming up ahead. You had no clue, which it has happened millions of times. Document yourself. Use the days previous to that activity to be an expert by the time they get to it. So at least so you are ahead of the game. Yes, you have experts, but you also want to pitch in because at the end of the day, it's your responsibility.
You have been listening to Thriving in Construction, the podcast. To get our latest updates and avoid missing an episode in the future, head over to our website, patriciabonilla.com, and click the podcast. And then please subscribe. We want to hear more about you. This is Patricia Bonilla, and once again, thank you so much for being a part of Thriving in Construction, the podcast.
How important is communication in the construction?
Massive. And it's becoming even more critical with the idea of emails. And sometimes we step away from that handshake, and whatever I look into your eyes and I tell you that's what's going to happen, and that's it. That's a contract now. Nowadays, we have to do it in a different way. We have to record a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of paperwork behind doors in order, and most of it is to hold people accountable for what they are supposed to do.
How about how do you go about planning your day, the work? How do you take on planning? How important do you think it is, and how do you go about it?
So, I mean, we have a lot of tools, and we have some of them are useless, some of them help you a little bit, but you have to know the sequence at least, and you have to have plan way ahead of time. I'm gonna say is hard to explain because every case is different. The bottom line is that you have to be ready for X day. That's your target, and you always have to have a target, and you have to make sure that everybody is in the same page on reaching that target. And I think you do a good job on bringing people together as the team that we are, and make them giving that piece of it important. It's not me. It's the project. You're not working for me. You're working for a bigger
picture, for a
correct
bigger goal.
Exactly.
Tell me about challenges. Tell me about when you step onto a project. Which has been the job that you have been on that has been the most challenging, and why?
Oh my God! I mean, there have been a few. There have been some bones there that Lunacon has been throwing. I will have to say there were a lot of it. If you ask Emilio, probably he'll say that I lost most of my hair at 759 Schwanford Road. But I don't think so. I mean, I learned a lot on that project. It was the first project that I have with you guys. And Gurri Madude was there involved as well. So I had a great team, Santiago, Tejada. I mean, those were people that were there to help. So I'm going to have to say Fog Facility. Fog Facility pulled the strings to the point that I asked myself, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to be here? You see what I'm saying? Did it was it that moment where there's always a project? Is this project gonna take me down? There's always a question. I believe on the superintendent side, there's always that I'm not gonna say fear, but that concern. Is this the project that I'm not gonna be able to do? No, I mean, I got there probably. I was the number 6 superintendent, number 5, number 6 superintendent that on site.
Really, that one?
I think so. I think there were many. There were many. Yes.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
It was a little. There were multiple project managers.
Oh, okay.
But then multiple superintendents as well.
I don't remember, but so you're saying. So the challenge was that you were not at the beginning. It was a challenge that you were not at the beginning, or maybe that you had not gone through an experience like that. Or a combination?
No. I think that the moment I got there, it was a difficult relationship with the client. I think that the client was making it bad. It was an every day. It was some sort of
challenge.
Yes. It looked like we're.
Let's not name the client.
No, we're not gonna say anything.
But
it was challenging. It was just challenging, and I think I figured that I was there late. I saw it coming when I saw Lunacon had problems. It was kind of a law of attraction working against me because at some point I said I'm gonna land there somehow.
But you know what? It's funny because that client turned out to give us a really good recommendation.
Absolutely. We made it. We made it happen. It was a celebration. They love it. The outcome. The struggle was to get it to that.
And you know what? A lot of times, in retrospect, that was a while ago.
Yes.
That project had a lot of changes that were not.
Oh yeah.
We're not gonna name or anything, but a lot of times that creates animosity, and until you go through that, the earlier we can talk about these things and not see them as a failure of one person or another. Sometimes when you bring about these changes, one person tends to think that there's going to be a blame and someone is going to pay the price, and somebody's paying the price. Don't get me wrong.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what it is. When you say the client, I know to me, the team makes a perfect job. But the team is the client, it's the designer of record, it's the general contractor, and are the subcontractors too. Some subcontractors or trade partners, I must say, have more weight than others, depending on the complexity of the job. Mm-hmm. Not everyone impacts the schedule the same way, right? There's scopes of work that are more impactful because of what they cover. How important is the client to the success of a project?
I think it's everything. And then we picked up a lot of that. I'm not going to say hate. I'm going to say a little bit of bad vibe, you see. Because it was more, we felt like we were the target. And I know for a fact that it took a lot of people out from that team. And it was because of them, because of the owner. He wasn't really happy, I'm gonna say. But it was what matters is that it pushed me through that point. And that's a moment. That's one of the moments where I realized, hold on, this is getting to me, and I'm taking this everywhere I go. It's time to do some exercise. And that triggered me going back to the gym, which I have been off for a while. But it helped me out a lot on that. And it took me to that point, whether I want to continue or not. It's a good thing to be in that stage. You see you see how far can you get. You see, well, I'm gonna back down or of something that it could be.
It got tough, and now
but I'm not a quitter. I can recall there was Will Smith. There's a video out there, and he said something important. He said, because it relates to me a lot. He said, we both get on a treadmill and two things are going to happen. You're going to get off before me or I'm going to die. And I always use that, because I'm going to push it. I'm not going to quit. And then someone is going to give away before me.
So, David, challenges. Yes. You have been saying, and I got to this challenge, or I got to this point where it almost felt overwhelming. And I asked myself, is this a job that is going to take me down? Or is this really for me? Is this industry for me? And you ask those questions, and before we started, we off camera, we were talking about a different topic, and I'm very grateful that we can have open conversations,
Absolutely,
and you've been with us for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and we're very proud of you.
Thank
and
you,
very
thank
grateful
you,
for
thank
you
you.
to be part of our Lunacon family.
Thank you. No, it's been a pleasure all this time.
And I am convinced.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, when you're a business owner, there are times where you say, "Is this for me?"
I know.
And you've been with me, that we've gone through challenges, and you work hard and you give your all, and still you don't have the outcome that you want.
Don't have the results.
And obviously, we can talk about this forever. There's many reasons why this happened, but when I am convinced that for me there was not an option to quit, because I'm not a quitter either.
Right.
I don't quit. And for me, what I can tell you in retrospect, after 15 years in business, I really compare having a business with having kids. Not the same, obviously, but when you have kids, you do not know what's the making of these children that you're having. You deliver them, you're really happy, but you have no idea what's coming. And as time evolves, just like in a project, every day is different. And you do your best, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the outcome is going to be what you want. And hold on. And a company, not the same, obviously, but when you decide and you commit and you resolve, I'm going to do this. Or you're in a project and this is going to happen. I'm going to finish on time. This is going to happen, right? You're committed to an outcome and you have a reason why this is going to happen. And you find strength where you didn't know you had.
Correct.
So I am convinced that many times it is figuring out what the obstacle is. Because the obstacle not necessarily is somebody did this and somebody else did that. It's what is it that you need to learn as an individual, as a soul, as a person. What is this experience in teaching me? I believe we attract, not necessarily, I don't want to say the law of attraction, but we attract. We are energetically, right?
Correct.
And so what is this experience going to teach me? And how am I going to transform? And many times we spend more time saying, why did this happen to me? Why did this happen? It
doesn't mean anything.
Very unempowering question.
Yes.
So in your experience, now in retrospect, because this project that you mentioned, I want to say was 6 years ago, 7, something like that, 7 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. In retrospect, where you are now, can you articulate what do you think this job really gave you as a gift? Because yes, there is the scar of whatever you went through, the long nights, whatever you needed to learn that you didn't know, the experience that you acquired. But where is the actual juice of that transformation of your character, which is really what sometimes we cannot put that in the balance sheet. Like we cannot say this is an asset.
No,
but
right.
it's there to
it's
stay.
It's there. Yeah, it's definitely there.
And it's there to stay.
Yeah.
To where
Forever.
And for the good, that you would not change that experience for nothing. Is there something that you can say in retrospect, that challenge, what did it bring to you?
I believe that it was the way of my relationship with people. Even though whatever you look like, if you look a little tougher, a little heartless, a little careless, you still have a heart. And I'm out there to, somehow persuade you so you could work on my team. And that was a challenge. And, putting everybody together, there were multiple characters involved. And I think that we did a good job on that. At the end of the day, I still could call that owner's rep and he will still answer with a smile. You see, he'll remember me for something good. Even the sub, we had some challenges with the subs, and the same thing. I could call him right now and he'll smile. Then this guy I think that we started, it was a little rough at the beginning, but then everything, and I remember I had a book sitting on my desk. I don't know if it was one of the books of Napoleon Hill's probably. And he saw it.
Napoleon Hill?
Napoleon Hill. He saw it. And I guess he is a big fan of it. So we started talking, however you can make a relationship work, I think it's worth, because it's worth the project. It's worth it towards the outcome. And that stayed with me, that sense of push, taking myself to the extreme. That's what it took. And today's day, I could go back to that scenario and see it with some sort of happy moments, even though it was a nasty project. but it was.
I don't think there's a.
The environment. I mean,
Yeah,
the environment.
Yeah.
But yes, I take that. And if I want multiple events that could throw me back to those places where if I was able to make it there, this is nothing. You say that when you're younger, you really have to go back to maybe somebody that you know. I used to go back to my grandfather and some struggles that I assume that he must have had. But now I could relate to my own experience because we have done some work.
You've done great.
Thank you.
Great. I know you like fishing.
Oh yeah.
Is that your hobby?
I have multiple hobbies. I like the ocean in general. So I do like fishing. I do some scuba diving every once in a while. Water related sports are my favorite. Some sailing and things like that. I usually do with my son.
I mean, you're Cuban. You're in an island. A lot of.
Yeah. So we relate to the water a lot.
So for
I'm
you,
not the
fishing
greatest.
is kind of second nature.
I mean, I'm not that great of a fisherman, but I like it. I like it. Yes.
I mean, I've been an observer in this industry. And at the beginning, when I joined this industry 33 years ago, I noticed everyone, all these people, they go to hunting or fishing.
Yeah.
It's like the thing to do.
Look at that.
And to connect, you spoke about this owner rep or client, you were able to connect with him with a book. Some people connect with football, some people connect. But I'll tell you, if you want to connect with somebody in construction, 9 times out of 10, talk about fishing and talk about hunting because you're going to connect.
Well, I mean, we have a variety of people, and we have, females as well. We all know. So it's whatever fits you better, to use it. So they could join in a relationship where you could gain their trust, and then you see, wait, we'll do the same. Let's do it one time together. Let's have some fun out of the. And we do that a lot. And we found a common space, and then we'll take it from there.
I think I've always been a connector, but fishing is not my thing. I mean, I can do it though, because I love the ocean.
Yeah.
But how do you connect with other people? I mean, most men, they can talk about fishing and hunting and they connect. But when it's a female, like you were saying,
yes.
What do you think? It's
I mean, well, there are obviously common grounds. You just have to find them. Yeah, I'm sure there is. I can't recall. I mean, maybe exercise. Maybe we could go back.
You just observe the person and find a way to communicate and connect.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a superintendent, going back to the superintendent. Daily reports. What makes it, for me, daily reports are key. They seem to be so second nature, so easy. There's not a lot of genius into them. However, when we don't do them daily, like the name says, daily report,
it's there for
and you go for a reason, and you go to a project, and you're looking,
God.
And where's the daily report? Hello, it's been months that it hasn't been done.
Oh my God.
Why is it? I know you are. But why is it? Why can people?
Yeah, something so simple. No, it's just describe your day, and the name is perfect. It's daily. Yeah. You have to do them daily. Yeah. The moment you start doing one, for some reason, next thing you know, it's been 2 days, 3 days, and then it's I don't know. I think it's something that it's also related to what you must do. The moment you hear this is what you have to do, you see, and we spend a lot of time coaching. You see, the subs are not there just to do the work. You have to do. You have to persuade them. You have to make sure they do the right. They have to take pictures. You have to make sure that it complies with the codes and the plans and the product is the correct one. So it's a variety of things that you have to spend your day in, and you really have to focus. But the dailies, I'm gonna tell you, it's something that you have to do daily. Yeah, unfortunately.
It's very critical for the listeners that are with us.
Yeah,
you can do a perfect project,
yes,
and not being able to prove that you're, stuff that happens that is not your fault, just because you didn't document and you don't have the daily reports. Many contracts say that you lose your rights when you don't have them.
Absolutely.
So I cannot stress how important daily reports are, even though, like you're saying, it should be a routine. It should be a part of your workout.
Correct.
Right?
Oh yeah.
As a superintendent.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and I use this a lot. So I don't use it for dailies because I don't have a big problem with it. But there are some tasks that you dislike, and whatever it is, So sometimes there's one task. So that's what I get to the office, and that's what I think of. So what is gonna be the biggest pain, and that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm going to do today. Because sometimes you start dragging and, days goes by and then becomes months and it becomes years and years. So do that thing that you hate the most first and you'll be all right.
The first thing in the morning.
Yes. What's going to suck today? That's what I do.
So David, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, no. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for sharing.
I had a blast.
Did you have fun?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. With both of the podcasts, the one before.
The one before and the one now. Well, thank you so much for being here, and we will continue this journey.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to Thriving in Construction, the podcast with Patricia Bonilla. If you enjoyed this episode and you would like to help support the podcast, please share it with others and leave a rating or review on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. If you have any suggestions or any related topics you would like us to tackle in our future episodes, feel free to reach Patricia by sending her a message through the website anchor.fm/thrivinginconstruction or find her on LinkedIn. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week here in Thriving in Construction, the podcast.